Soundtrack number 1 is the Kdrama equivalent of eating a 10-cent package of instant ramen prepared by a Michelin star chef. On paper, this 4-episode miniseries should not work. The script is unoriginal, the pacing is glacial, and the tropes are so predictable you could probably recite the next scene before it happens. Yet somehow, it becomes the cinematic equivalent of a warm hug on a cold day. So let's talk about why this K-drama works when it absolutely shouldn't. At its core, soundtrack number 1 is your textbook, basic, friends to lovers romance. We follow lyricist Lee Eun-soo and her best friend of 19 years, photographer Han Son-woo. The inciting incident kicks off when Eun-soo's latest song lyrics are rejected by a producer because she completely failed to capture the deep, emotional vibe of unrequited love. Desperate, she begs for a 2-week extension to rewrite the song. That night, after a drunk venting session with Son-woo, she accidentally discovers that he has actually been harboring a painful, unrequited love for years. Though, of course, she has no idea that she is the object of his affection. Since he's scheduled to leave the country in just 2 weeks for an international photography assignment, Eun-soo proposes a solution. She asks him to move in with her for those final 2 weeks to act as her lyrical assistant, teaching her the raw emotions of pining and unrequited love. And if you've watched approximately 3 romance dramas in your entire life, you already know exactly where this is going, which leads us directly into one of the show's biggest problems. There is not a single original bone in this drama's body. Every scene feels familiar. Accidentally falling asleep together and waking up cuddling. Check. The married couple friends who own a restaurant and function as relationship mentors. Check. The claw machine stuffed animal scene. Of course. You could probably make a bingo card out of romance drama cliches and fill the entire thing before episode 3. To make matters worse, the pacing is slow. Painfully slow. Like being stuck in line at the DMV slow. For a 4-episode story, you wouldn't think it has room to drag. But somehow, my ADHD brain was screaming through the first 2 episodes. It genuinely feels like a 2-hour movie script stretched like taffy to fill 4 episodes. But here is the strange paradox of soundtrack number 1. As slow and predictable as it was, I could not tear my eyes away from the screen. Despite the fact that virtually nothing happens plot-wise, the drama is deeply, inexplicably mesmerizing. I chalk this up to a few specific things. First, ironically, is the very pacing I just complained about. In a media landscape dominated by constant overstimulation, high-stakes thrillers, and frantic plotting, watching a show that actively chooses to take its time felt like a much-needed mental respite. What started out making me antsy and irritated eventually put me into the kind of deep relaxation I usually only get after a spa day. And the cinematography complements this perfectly. The soft lighting, muted tones, and beautiful winter aesthetic instantly evoke a sense of warmth. The entire thing feels like drinking hot cocoa while snow falls outside your window. It's not exciting, it's comforting. And the emotional tone is what really sells it. For almost the entire runtime, this drama traps you inside this bittersweet feeling of longing. That ache of wanting someone who's right beside you while knowing things are about to change. A massive portion of that success rests entirely on Park Hyung-sik. This man's eyes alone held more depth, pain, and unspoken dialogue than anything the actual script provided. The way Son-woo looks at Eun-soo when she isn't paying attention tells you everything you need to know about their relationship. You can feel 19 years of affection, frustration, tenderness, and heartbreak sitting behind every expression. And while I've seen people criticize Han So-hee's performance here, I actually think she did a really solid job with what the character required. Eun-soo is difficult because she spends most of the drama unknowingly hurting someone she deeply cares about. That's a hard line to walk without making the audience dislike her. But So-hee gives her enough warmth and sincerity that you still understand why Sunwoo loves her. Together, these two sell every second of that longing. Because the narrative forces us to sit in that heavy, suffocating pining for almost the entire 4 episodes, when we finally get that long-awaited confession and kiss, it hits exponentially harder than your average K-drama romance. I can honestly admit that I found myself tearing up, which has genuinely never happened to me during a K-drama kiss scene before. The emotional release felt entirely earned because the slow burn tension was dialed up so high. Unfortunately, while the emotional baseline is incredibly strong between our leads, the side characters are essentially two-dimensional cardboard cutouts. They exist solely to deliver plot information to the viewer, or push the main couple together only to quietly fade into the background. Our main couple's married friends, Mari and Gyul-han, are fundamentally there to serve as living proof of concept that friends can successfully become lovers, while acting as convenient sounding boards for Eun-soo and Sunwoo's romantic crises. Beyond them, we have Eun-soo's mother, who pops in exactly twice, just to deliver a heavy-handed dose of symbolism and foreshadowing via a convenient deck of tarot cards. Then there's Dong-hyun, Sunwoo's photography partner, who provides a tiny smattering of standard comic relief. But oddly enough, I don't think this hurts the drama that much, because soundtrack number 1 isn't trying to tell a sprawling ensemble story. It's hyper-focused on one relationship and one emotional journey. Narrowing the scope that much actually helps the central romance feel more intimate. Where I do wish the production had broadened its horizons a bit is in the actual execution of its musical premise. The original soundtrack for this drama is highly praised and genuinely beautiful, but for a show entirely centered around a lyricist on a desperate quest to write a perfect song, I expected far more live music throughout the story. The only time we actually see a character perform on screen is when Gyul-han sings a goofy, lighthearted birthday song about eggs to Mari. Meanwhile, So In-guk literally shows up as a music idol, and they don't even let the man sing. That feels borderline criminal. Overall, I think they missed a huge opportunity to incorporate the theme of music more thoroughly into the writing. My final complaint is the ending. Not the emotional ending. That part worked beautifully for me. The logistical ending. By the finale, Sunwoo comes back to Korea briefly from his international photography tour, and the two finally confess their feelings. Then we get this lovely scene of them cuddling together in the restaurant as an official couple. It's very cute and very satisfying emotionally. But then, the drama just stops, and I'm left wondering how this relationship is supposed to function. Did Sunwoo abandon his photography career? Did Eun-soo decide to travel with him? Are they attempting long distance? The show offers absolutely no answers whatsoever. It basically pats you on the head and says, they're in love, don't ask questions. Unfortunately, I am a woman with endless questions. So what's the final verdict? In the end, soundtrack number 1 is absolutely perfect for anyone looking for a quick, cozy, aesthetically gorgeous watch that successfully tugs at your heartstrings. However, given the incredibly basic plot, the missed musical opportunities, and the paper-thin side characters, I'm going to give this drama a final score of 3.5 out of 5 soju bottles. Even with its flaws, it's still worth a watch on a rainy afternoon. If for no other reason than to watch Park Hyung-sik take a 10-second package of instant ramen and serve it up like a Michelin star masterpiece. Next week, we're pivoting from light comfort to something much heavier, as I'll be reviewing one of the most highly praised, raw, and emotionally complex K-dramas of all time, My Mister. It's a masterpiece of character development, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss that deep dive when it drops. And let me know in the comments, did you find soundtrack number 1 comforting, or did the pacing make you want to launch your remote across the room? And if you love slow burn romances full of yearning, emotional tension, and characters who are absolutely miserable without each other, you might enjoy my own time travel romance, Beneath the Destiny Stone. Here's an exclusive preview of the audiobook. Enjoy!
I wish. His voice choked. If I could, Fiona. His forehead dropped against my neck. You're so very important to me. You have to ken that. It was the exact wrong thing to say. I could take his apologies, but I couldn't stomach his lies. I tore away from him. No,